Who is responsible for paying the legal fees where an employee has been offered an employment-related settlement agreement by their employer? I'm Richard Hiron, also known as the Hironator, and I'm an employment law solicitor. To help me to answer this question, I've brought along a visual aid. So, here at the top is your employer. Here, and that's quite sharp, is you, and here, also quite sharp, is your lawyer. Now, between your employer and you, there will be a contract. That will be the settlement agreement. And in the settlement agreement, there would usually be a clause setting out that your employer will pay X amount as a contribution towards your fees for receiving advice on the terms and effect of the settlement agreement. There will then be a contract between you and your lawyer, which might be called a client care letter or an engagement letter. And that will set out what your lawyer is going to charge for giving you that advice. Some lawyers might tie it into the fee that's in the settlement agreement. Others might charge something in addition to that. However, that's essentially the range of the contractual relationships in this situation. In other words, there is no direct contractual relationship between your lawyer and your employer, meaning that if things go wrong and your employer does not pay the fees, it falls to you in this relationship to pay those fees. The good news is it's actually a rarity for that to happen. I've been practicing since 2016 and it's never happened in a settlement transaction that I've handled. So that's the good news. Additionally, the kind of not so good news, but still positive, is that if it were to happen, there is a contract between you and your employer called the settlement agreement. And if your employer did not pay those fees, it would be breaching the settlement agreement. So it's in their interests to pay the fees rather than breaching that agreement. I hope that's answered the question. In the meantime, if you're finding a settlement agreement hard, bring it to Richard.